Thank you for joining me today, everyone. My name is Gary, and this is Apex Health. Tonight, we're talking about a very serious topic for many people, and that topic is how do you know if you have a drinking problem? If this hits home to you, please stay tuned. Before we start, I'd like to ask that if you like the content, please like and subscribe to the channel. It's free and it simply tells YouTube that you would like this content to be shared to more people. Thank you. So, drinking problems. It abounds in our society. It's glamorized in Western culture. It's expected of you to go out and drink and party and all that kind of stuff, and it's a lot of fun. It's relaxing, it's social, it's all that kind of thing. But there's also a very, very dark side to drinking. If you develop over time, you can develop liver disease, alcoholism, heart disease, all these kinds of things, accidents, family issues, violence, all that sort of stuff. So, how do you know if you're drinking socially or if it's more? There's a few telltale things that you can look at. So, one of them is drinking alone. If you spend a lot of time by yourself in your apartment or going to bars or whatever that is, just to drink with no one else around, you're not going out to celebrate a birthday, you're not going to go watch the game with the boys or whatever it is, or you're having friends over for dinner. If the focus of that night is, I'm going to go get drunk, and that's a repeated thing for you, that's a really big flag. Another thing is if it starts affecting your performance, your job performance, your daily activities, are you putting things aside like exercising, or maybe it's a hobby like writing music or photography or whatever, any of those kind of things? That's another sign. Is your sleep affected? Alcohol has extremely negative effects on sleep. It suppresses REM sleep and deep sleep, which are very, very necessary for cleaning the brain out of waste products and for injury and tissue repair and immune system responses and things like that. So, maybe you're staying up late and drinking and then your sleep is interrupted. People think they sleep better when they drink. They do fall asleep faster. They sort of pass out, or, they're very sedated or whatever, but their quality of sleep is actually affected very negatively. Another thing may be financial. You may be out spending, a couple $100s a week in the bar. You could invest that or pay off your house faster or whatever it is, be doing more healthy things. But if part of your budget is, that couple $100s a week on alcohol, that may be a clear sign that you have an issue in that area. Something else that may happen is you may develop patterns. You might have certain things like, I know I'm going to go out tonight, so I'm going to have certain foods or beverages in the house when I come home, or I'm going to leave my keys at home and take a bus or an Uber or something to the bar, or whatever it is. People who have a normal relationship with alcohol don't really go through that. They go and they have one or two drinks a couple times a month, something like that. If this is a regular occurrence, it may be time to reassess your relationship with alcohol. I'm filming this in the second week of January, and January has been designated as Dry January, which is when people choose to reassess their relationship with alcohol after the holiday season when everyone's partying and all that kind of thing. So this may be a time for you to do the same if any of this is striking home with you. Weight gain and health problems. If you are putting on a lot of weight, alcohol does a couple of things. One, it's empty calories. And two, it can interfere with the hormones that regulate the feeling of fullness and the desire to eat. So you end up overeating. You may eat fatty foods at night when you're drunk. You go and have pizza or something. And then in the morning, a lot of people turn to a grease meal for breakfast to help the hangover, that sort of thing. And also, of course, those foods generally have a lot of salt in them as well as fat and calories. Maybe you wake up in the middle of the night and your heart is racing. One term for that is holiday heart, and that's like binge drinking can cause that sort of thing. You wake up with palpitations and you're sweating and that kind of thing, right? That is also a sign of withdrawal, first stage withdrawal. So if you're having health problems, if you're financially in trouble, maybe you've hit bottom on some level, maybe you lost a relationship, maybe you are turning to violence while you're out and in your quote partying night, you are getting into fights, things like that. Any of these are indications that you may have an issue. And it's a very insidious thing that develops over time. You know, when you're in your early 20s or whatever it is, and you're just out for social drinks, and then it becomes an easy slope, a slippery slope, to start developing a drinking problem. Maybe you're in an industry that is very conducive to it. You might be in the entertainment business or the bar business or something like that, where it's very expected that you're going to be having a few drinks every night with people. So this is a very serious topic, and not a lot of people really look at themselves clearly. What can happen is that the disease, and it is a disease of alcoholism, can start to make decisions for you, almost like there's a monster in your head. So that monster will live in denial, and the monster will make you live in denial, I should say. So you may not even realize it. You just think, oh, I'm living my life like everyone does. Everyone drinks like this. That's not correct. People who have a normal relationship with alcohol do not go out on a regular basis with the intent of getting drunk. They don't spend hundreds of dollars a month on alcohol. They don't drink alone. Usually, maybe a glass of wine with dinner or something once in a while, but they don't go out with the intent of drinking to get drunk by themselves on a regular basis. So these can all be indicators that you have a drinking problem. And very often it takes hitting bottom. You may have to, unfortunately, people may get in a car accident, or they may lose their job, or lose their primary relationship, their partner, or their family, or their kids, whatever it is, before they recognize, hey, this really has to change. They might be in debt and they can't get out of it, or anything like that. And unfortunately, very, very often, those people who are in that situation will still not recognize that fact. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is dry January. So, if any of this sounds familiar, um, I beg of you, take the time to do a little research and look at some of the medical things that happen to your body. Read up on alcohol's damage to the heart and the liver and the kidneys and the brain and all that kind of stuff. And, maybe it'll throw a little bit of apprehension into you. Read some stuff. There's a lot of things online or in the library, whatever. There's a lot of amazing stuff out there that can point to the problems that people have with alcohol and how they manifest. And it may strike home for you. And if it does, seek help, talk to somebody, or have a really serious conversation with yourself and analyze what your behaviors are. Maybe you try to quit drinking all the time, or I'm going to stop for a week, or I'm going to quit after my birthday, or whatever it is. Again, people who have a normal relationship with alcohol do not go through that. They do not say, "Oh, it's okay after Christmas I'll stop, or after the Halloween party or whatever. That's when I'll stop." Normal people who normally drink normally, I mean, do not go through that. So again, that's a big indicator that there may be an issue that you need to look at. There is, of course, Alcoholics Anonymous and other 12-step programs. Some people feel a little put off by some of the religious or spiritual trappings in some of those places. Not all of them have that. There are secular programs available. And maybe going there and hearing other people's stories, you might go, wow, you're exactly like me. I had no idea, like that sort of thing, right? So it also may be someone in your family, maybe your spouse or a child, or someone like that, that you can see this in them. So a good thing you can try is to look at your life or that person's life and think, If a stranger, if a third party, a stranger was looking at this life from above, if they were viewing my habits and how I live day to day and how I treat alcohol, how I interact with it and how I plan my day around it or how it affects my life, if some third party who doesn't know me was watching this, would they say that person has a problem? Thank you for watching and be well.